Great Monday morning, everyone. How are you all doing? This is your girl, Shan. I didn't think I was going to be able to be on y'all for a while because it took a minute for this thing to start up. But praise ye the Lord, I am on. So, I know a lot was on spring break last weekend. I'm going to need us to get up, get our mind right, and get motivated, okay? It's time to get back to the same old, same old. Anywho, please join us for tonight's show, Marriage Mondays with the Kings. For those who think we have a podcast, no, we actually have a radio show, which is entitled Marriage Mondays with the Kings. We'll be on 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where the topic will be marriage when it's no longer we, but me. When it's no longer we, but me. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's topic. It could be a dangerous situation, especially when you're talking about marriage. And then, I'm going to be advising singles and things like this. Good morning, Simone. One thing that I try not to do is I try my best not to bring heavy things on a Monday. Because, it's Monday. You trying to get up, get your mind right and be in a good mood and everything like that. But it's just something that's just been weighing heavy on my heart over the weekend that I must speak about. Now, we know God ordained marriage. We know, all the ups and the good times and everything pertaining to marriage. We know what the scriptures say. I say it's just a few simple rules that God tells us to follow in order to have a good marriage. And I must admit, once I start following God's rules, my marriage has gotten better. I don't know about anybody else out there, but that's what it's been for me, because I had an independent mindset and I didn't want my husband trying to change me, control me and all that. And the only thing he was trying to do was love me, but I didn't know any better. Now, getting into when it could be a dangerous situation. Let me go ahead and start with the singles real quick if I can. It is so important. Good morning, Yvonne. And people say this all the time, but I think, not to say just the singles, but I think we don't like to listen sometimes, especially when people give advice that's going to be a blessing to us. We don't like to listen. And so these are some things that I see people do in their single situations. I'm going to say it like that. I don't want to just point one finger out or whatever the case may be. But for my single ladies, if a guy is telling you that he's not ready to be married, you trying to pressure him ain't going to do nothing but backfire in your face. I'm just going to be honest. You trying to pressure, you trying to trap. Let's just keep it real or whatever the case may be. And I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. If a guy tells you he don't want to be in a relationship with you, what I encourage you to do is, if you're a single woman, just respect that. If he say, I just want to be friends or whatever, just respect what he's saying, because it is a reason 9 times out of 10 why he's telling you that. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Now, on the flip side, for the men, you can't control a woman to be in a relationship with you. You just can't do it. Oh, you gonna be my woman. You gonna be this and this, that, and the other. And 9 times out of 10, you ain't even put a ring on her finger. But you sit up here talking about what she gonna be to you or whatever. These are some dangerous type situations. And see, what I need our singles to understand is this. You need to listen to the things that are being said. For us, especially as women, since God has created us to be emotional creatures, the things that we tend to do is oh my God, somebody love me. Somebody want to be with me. And all reasoning goes out the window. Okay. When it comes to somebody, crushing on us, as we used to say back in the day, all reasoning and common sense goes smooth out the window. And that's the thing, that we lose our reasoning and we do not realize it until we get into a dangerous situation later on down the line. Now, the reason why I'm talking about dangerous and all this other kind of stuff like that is because I heard somebody say something this weekend, and it kind of frightened me, because I knew this person, what they said meaning to be true. Okay. Now, this is a situation. This individual, and I'm not telling, like anybody business, whatever the case might be, but this individual was married. Beautiful family, had a wife that would, hold this joker down. You hear what I'm saying? Hold him down. Now, before I go further in this, what I often hear people say is this, and this is really, really scary to me. I heard people say you dating. Just say you just straight out dating. You ain't even married, but you dating and you break up with somebody. And I remember when I was in Germany, I made this comment, and I'm not trying to be racist at all, whatever the case may be. But when I was in Germany, I used to kick it with a whole bunch of dudes. Remember, I told you I didn't deal with females, but I wasn't a garden tool either. That's who used to have my back, was a whole bunch of dudes that I looked at as brothers or whatever. And so I remember saying, you know what? I'm going to stop dating this certain race or ethnic group, and I'm gonna start dating another ethnic group, and I got and if that be the case, that joker gonna get beat up and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm sitting up here like, where did that come from? Like, why would you want to put your hands on somebody? See, when the situation, whether it be dating that we need to listen to, or even in marriage, if it's situations where you know the person that you married to, and say y'all just talking, and that, God forbid, y'all happen to get a divorce, and that joker saying, well, because I hear men doing this. Now, I'm not going to be mean. Women can do it too in a different way, but men definitely do this. You cool as long as your ex is not with anybody else. Men, you can go be with whoever you want to be with. You could be dating 5 different women at one time, making yourself look like a fool. But as long as she ain't with nobody, then you good. You checking on social media, you asking the family that you used to be, connected to in marriage. Oh, how so-and-so, how Tammy doing? I'm just throwing that out there. Well, how Tammy doing? Well, I ain't seen it like this and that and other. You checking, you pretty much softly stalking. That's what you doing. Now, when your ex get with somebody else, then you have an issue because, and I used to ask my husband, why is it like this? I don't understand. Now, females, let me show you what that look like on a different light. What I've seen females do, especially when there's children connected to this situation, is you good as long as you know he chilling, he minding his. But let you have a child by him, you trying to cause all kind of havoc in hell. You wasn't bit more studying. You was trying to keep him away from his child and all this other kind of stuff. I'm gonna speak some truth on this morning because I don't know who I'm talking to. And then soon as he gets with somebody else and it's serious, as soon as he get with somebody else and he get married, then all of a sudden you trying to throw the child off on him. You need to see your kid. Oh, you with this new female, but you need to see your kid. And you trying to drop the child off on the front doorstep, ding dong, just showing up out the blue because you stalking for real. You ain't even lightweight stalking. You sitting across the street all times of night. You know what I'm saying? Seeing when you can use this child. And then when you gonna pay some child support? When you gonna come on. Good morning, Brady. Come on now. I'm gonna need us to get it together. These situations can become dangerous because I've heard people say, let my ex end up with so-and-so, or let my ex end up dating this ethnicity, and I'm going to end up killing them. Look, what I need my singles and married to know, don't take these threats lightly. Because when this was said on yesterday, my heart dropped because I knew in my heart that this individual was real about what it was that he said. So singles, quit. I understand when you want to be married. I understand that you don't want to be by yourself. I remember in my late teen years, I was that same way, whatever the case may be. But you know what? I took my hands off of it and I said, God, you do what you gonna do. And the only thing I could do was trust God. And yes, sometimes it may take some time. But when you are coercing, because see, what we do as females is we are emotional beings. You see what I'm saying? That God has created to be emotional. And that's where those soul ties come in when we out here sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, okay? You are connecting in the spirit. You don't understand that. And like I always try to explain to people, and I used to explain to my teens and stuff in church, the older teens that could understand, you are connecting in the spirit. People don't believe in spirit beings, whatever you believe. But if you don't believe it to be true, then why is it when you're not with that person anymore, because you've given yourself to them in such an intimate way, you ain't with that person anymore, you mad, you crying. I seen females cry, you just crying and acting a stone cold fool. The man sitting up here talking about, I don't care if you even is with him. If you with him, you still mine. You still belong to me. Because spiritually you have connected. And I used to always tell my older teens, and I used to tell my kids and stuff like this too, you got to be really careful who you sleeping with, because that is the most intimate connection ever. You do not understand. You're literally plugging in to each other, and people just think it's simply sex, but it's not. And so when you're doing that, you don't know who that person was with, or who the people that the individual was with. And you sit up here wondering, why am I tripping? Why am I depressed? Because them spirits that was attached to the person. And when people get to the point to where they start controlling, saying, oh, you ain't gonna never be with nobody else. And let me tell you something. You better listen to what they say, because this stuff that you see in the movies, this stuff that happened in real life. You see what I'm saying? So quit forcing people to be with you. Quit manipulating people to be with you. Ladies, no shade, no knock, but quit getting pregnant by these dudes because you think that a baby is gonna tie him down, when what you don't realize is if you really got to know him, you would know that he got 5 other different kids with 5 different baby mamas. So the baby ain't what's gonna tie him down. You see what I'm saying? Man, you sitting up here thinking because you was with this individual, you didn't treat them like they was anything. Hey, Serena, oh, my girl from Germany. You didn't treat them like they was anything. You didn't treat them like God say when you married to them and you put them up on a pedestal. You sitting up here being a gardening tool. Boy, I was about to say something else. You sitting up here being a gardening tool with everybody in the whole doggone county in which you live in. But you get mad because that person in which you were with, you didn't treat right. But God said, you know what, my daughter, I'm tired of you going through. I feel that you're ready. You've been working on yourself. You know who you are, and I'm about to bless you. I'm about to bless you with the man, the husband that I created for you. Okay, look here. We can't get mad and be trying to step in God's way. You see what I'm saying? Because whoever God may bring that young lady or vice versa, you might not want to step to him, because if you don't know enough about him, them soul ties make you do some crazy things. You see what I'm saying? And when you get into a marriage, especially sexually, because I remember telling my husband, I'm going to be really transparent right now. We was having this conversation. And so me and my husband, like I said before, we both started off with low self-esteem, right? So me and him was having this conversation and we were talking about cheating. And I remember telling him, I said, look, I seen too many people getting cheated on when I was growing up. So that's not something that I want for myself. When I said I do, that mean I really wanted a family or whatever the case may be. I don't want, I don't want that life, because if that be the case, I would have got it out of my system before I said I do. And he was just like, well, how would I know this? I said, look here. I said, let me go ahead and tell you, when I said I do, when I made that commitment for God, I meant that. You see what I'm saying? I meant that. That's number one. Number two, I cannot see myself being physically with anybody else, because the person in whom I trust is you. When we get into marriage and we say I do, that's where it needs to end. You see what I'm saying? But what people tend to do is you married and you still want to live that single life, and you dipping your toe in every pool that's around you. No, if your tail wanted to be single, you should have stayed single. You shouldn't have said I do. And even men, you can't allow anybody to pressure you into getting married. Marriage is a serious thing. God created marriage to be really serious. And those of you who've been through an infidelity situation, I don't know who you are because I ain't in your business like that, but you've been through an infidelity situation, you see how hard it is to bounce back from something like that, to rebuild that trust. It's not about me forgiving you. Like I said, my friend had posted on Facebook, it's not about me forgiving you, it's about me rebuilding that trust. But when you've messed up so bad with somebody because you've stepped outside of the marriage, the relationship, whatever the case may be, and then you sitting up here getting mad, and you sitting up here drinking, because I've seen people do this, you drinking, and just finding a reason in your mind to psych yourself up to physically harm this person. So that's why I encourage you, quit being so easy to jump into a marriage. Quit being so easy that when you start dating, now you ain't even together 2 months and the first thing you thinking about is getting married. That doesn't happen for everybody all the time. That doesn't happen like that. Like y'all may have known, me and my husband, we were together dating for a short time. But let me tell you, that brother knew what he wanted. You see what I'm saying? And I knew what I wanted. I wanted somebody that I could be with, that I could trust. You see what I'm saying? Somebody that was going to have my back and I could have their back, and we can build together. If you're single and these are not the thoughts that you are thinking on both sides, I encourage you, don't get married, because people do not realize this until they've been married probably 3 or 4 times, and then they realize, wow. But if we really follow those simple rules in the Bible, that God has put in the Bible, how wives should submit to their own husbands and not everybody else's husbands, how husbands should protect, provide, and all this other kind of stuff, then we wouldn't have to go through this. But these dangerous situations where people are sitting up talking about, yeah, I seen where she had bruises on her. Yeah, I seen where he was talking about, I heard what he was talking about, she busted out his tires, and slashed his tires and busted out his windows. Y'all might think this is cute, but these are some serious situations. These are some mental situations. And if you're not really getting to know that person, you do not know what you're jumping into. You think it's love, but on day 2, you start getting your butt beat because you don't realize this person's abusive. Heck, I was the type of person, and I'm gonna keep it real. Oh, so who was your ex-girlfriend, this and this and that? Sometimes you got ex-girlfriends that'll throw shade, but you got a small percentage of the ones that'll tell the truth. We just didn't work out. But if them jokers, if it's a whole line of people that talk about he was abusive, I had black eyes and all that, you might need to check that out, okay? Before you say I do and get into a serious situation. So I don't know who this is for, but avoid that danger, because God did not mean for marriage to be where you being controlled, you getting beat, mentally, physically abused, sexually abused, even in marriage. God did not design it that way, okay? So y'all have a blessed day. Join us tonight on Marriage Mondays with the King, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Go to the App Store, download that blue and white app so you can keep it locked to KRGN 98.5 FM. That's what you got to type into the App Store, okay? And your girl Shannon, be back with y'all tomorrow. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Be a blessing and not a curse. Share this because it's free. And I will be with y'all on tomorrow. God bless.